Hey everyone, welcome back. Icon here. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. This one's a little bit different as we're hopping on board with ENVOY as he and the Chicago Huntsmen take on the Florida Mutineers. This is like the second time in the last 4 or 5 days or so that these two teams have scrimmed. I've only got like probably 3 or so videos on my channel from Florida, so I wanted to go ahead and do another one of them. I really like their SMGs, specifically Frosty in the hill. He always does a really nice job. He seems to have a lot of slaying power right around the hills, along with Skies. So right now we're playing on St Petrograd, and if we're talking about setting up for the future, Chicago is not in hill and they're spawning out. So that's something that happens a lot on this map, is that everybody makes such a concerted effort to flip spawns that they usually end up giving up a ton of points on hill, and then they don't flip spawns. Now, luckily, I didn't see who was behind. I think it might have been Formal. Formal just died over on Water's Edge, and when ENVOY came up, ENVOY, I can't stop saying ENVOY, but when ENVOY came up, he spawned back in spawns for this second hardpoint. So now they are set up, and I like that he's set up behind this desk over here. So whenever you have control of the hardpoint, you want your SMGs to go ahead and push out a little bit so that you can kill people before they get into the hardpoint. So I like him being here. Looks like he did just get stunned. So at this point in time, if he was able to get this kill, then you might want to think about spawning out a little bit. So it looks like they have spawns, they have control of the map, and they're just kind of battling over hill time here. So with about 30 seconds left, you don't want to give up this time. You definitely want to try to maximize this time, and right now it just seems like they're getting slayed out in hill. Right there, you just saw ENVOY throw a smoke. So what happens is the team that has spawns, so like the proper spawns that you want back in that corner, is that if the enemy team's ARs get pushed up, they can slay you out. So what you want to do is what ENVOY did right there, is you just want to throw smoke in that cut so then you can get into the hill and get that time back. So one other thing that I'll say real quick before we talk about rotations is that in this one, this is like the second or third time. This is like my 50-second video on my channel, and this is only like the second or third time that we've hopped on board with ENVOY. So I'm kind of interested just to see what he does. Looks like he's trying to push out spawns here, but as it rotates back to this third hard point, you'll see that Chicago doesn't have spawns for this one. They don't have map control. They don't have hill control, and they're down by about 80 points. So this certainly isn't looking good. If you're Chicago, what you want to be doing at this point in time is getting those cuts, and then when you come off spawn, you want to make sure you lock down the flanks. So as it rotates back to this bar hard point, you have to watch both the outside lanes. So in most circumstances, teams aren't going to push right down the middle of the map, just because if they do, there's usually an AR like Formal or somebody like that looking over mid-map. So when you're trying to rotate off of the third hill back to the fourth hill, this is real flank heavy. So you're watching the left side of the map and the right side of the map. So like right now, if you look at the mini map in the top left-hand corner, ENVOY is in hill, but he's not. There's nobody pushed up on that left side where the first hard point is. So it looks like they have Formal, Seth, and Arcees. There's 3 people on the right side of the map, but there's nobody watching the left side. So if you are Florida, you could easily throw a smoke into that cut and then push up into the hill just because there's nobody watching. Look at the mini map right now. There are 3 people over there. There were just 3 people, and there's a smoke there. So again, it's really hard. If you're watching ENVOY, if you're watching an SMG player, it's really hard to see what's going on outside of the map just because they're usually doing the dirty work and getting the time in hill. So it's hard to see what's happening, but at that point in time, that left flank by first hard point was smoked out, and Florida was trying to push through there. So with 8 seconds left, all you want to do for this one is just make sure you're holding down this side of the map. So as it goes to the 5th hard point, which is right in the middle, it's kind of a lot of scrap time there. So you want to hold down this side of the map for the 5th hill. For the first hill, which is to the left of where ENVOY's at right now, you want to make sure you're holding down that back spawn as well, so that as it rotates back to that second hard point, the one that they actually flipped on the first set of rotations, but they weren't able to hold it down. So this is usually the point in the video where I let you guys listen in. There is about 30 seconds left in this hill, and I think Chicago's doing a fantastic job of bringing this back. They were down by like 90 points as it rotated to that 4th hard point. And inside that fourth hard point, they got all of the time in the fourth hard point, and now they're securing the majority of the time in the fifth hard point. If you're Chicago, you do want to watch that right side. There's nobody over there by L, which is where ENVOY just got killed from. So Havoc was in L, so they didn't have anybody push over there. And now if they're coming off spawn, they're spawning out. So I don't know. This is kind of just developing as we watch, but it looks like spawns have flipped. I didn't see, yeah, so if you're pushing up this right side here as it goes into the first hard point, you want to make sure you smoke so that you can push out those back spawns, but ENVOY's just trying to do all he can to control hill time. So with that, let's go ahead, let's listen in to hear what they're talking about as this enters the second set of rotations. I'll still chime in, but let's just listen to the majority of their talk and strategy.
Colt one shot at the green car. Colt one shot green car.
He's up top again, close.
One more bullet. Yeah,
same.
And right now they're just getting slayed out. It looks like, so ENVOY's probably like 50-50, but Skies, it seems like every time he's in a hard point, he's getting a lot of kills. Those were nice shots there by ENVOY. Nice job smoking this off. Now they're going to try to push through bars so that they can flip spawns as it rotates back to that second hard point.
Two close up. Another one close up. One bullet. Frosty.
Top of the van, Skies.
Yo, I'm back bar right now, guys. I'm back bar.
It's a nice job by ENVOY sneaking into back bar here.
And he hits all the Pristini.
One top bar.
We'll see where Seth just died.
Two back bar.
So ENVOY goes down. I was interested to see where Seth came up, because if ENVOY could have secured that kill, then wherever Seth came up would have determined who had spawns. But now they're down by 60, and they don't have spawns going back into the second hill, so it's definitely not looking good at the moment.
Another one got me bottom.
Need me front door?
Hotel, one shot.
Wait, did you just smoke that off?
Huh?
Did you smoke off back bar?
Yeah.
He's in hotel still.
Not back bar.
Wait,
did I throw it too far?
It was back bar. You just, I had all the cuts.
That conversation right there is ENVOY threw a smoke. It didn't get back far enough. So what he was trying to do is just pop the smoke so that he could get in. But what he ended up doing was throwing the smoke in the other team's spawn. So the other team, so Florida was able to rush through, and Chicago couldn't see them as they were trying to cross mid-road there.
We just let Caesar go. Why are we not backing up?
Shit, dude.
I mean, this shit was shocked anyway.
Yeah, so this is exactly, you're probably hearing them in the background, but this is exactly what you don't want to have happen. The last thing you want to do is get that last 3-5 seconds worth of hill time, and now they're spawning out. So now as it rotates, Florida was able to push somebody through mid-map. Now they have those back spawns, and they're only about 25 points away from winning here. So in order to bring this one back, there'd have to be some sort of a miracle. And this is a little bit interesting because when Chicago scrimmed Atlanta the other day, they won this map pretty handedly against Atlanta. So I kind of figured with the long-range gun battles that you see in this might be one of their strong suits with the performance that they can get out of formal holding down spawns and rotations. So that's going to be all she wrote for this one. I'm interested to see just exactly what the kills are like. I see ENVOY and Arcety's only had 15, so it looks like in terms of the slaying power, they absolutely got outslayed. I want to see what Seth did, and I want to see what Skies did also, just so I could see what the SMG comparison was like. Scump had 22, Skies had 25. I guess the slaying wasn't too bad. Actually, Gunvoy and so yeah, Gunvoy, ENVOY and Gunless. That's quite the disparity there. They only had 28 kills between them, and Skies had 25. So quite the discrepancy there. So with that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Esports Analysis. We are now only 5 days away from the very first Minnesota launch weekend LAN. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel so that when that comes, I'm going to be breaking down every single match I'm going to put on my channel. So if you're here for analysis, make sure that you're hitting that subscribe button so you're here for that. Don't forget to leave a like before you head on your way. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. We'll see you.